We should be officially live. Hello and welcome, everyone. We are here back with TBL Season 12, Week 4. It is Sunday, and we are finishing off the week. And hopefully, we are finishing it off strong as the Atlanta Talon Flames are taking on the San Diego Pachirisu. It is I, your host, Finfin, and I am joined by two co commentators today in Playmaker and Coach Pizza Box Joe. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty dandy. How about you, friend?
Me.
Yep, play how you doing?
But I'm good. I'm good. It's just a lazy Sunday, but hopefully that all picks up with our matchup tonight. So
Certainly understandable, and I agree. Hopefully, this lazy Sunday will kind of turn into more of an action-packed one as we get some Pokemon going. I appreciate you gentlemen joining the stream today. We should have a good one. We have two teams that are currently trying to fight for their playoff lives as we get ready to go into the bye week here soon. Atlanta Talon Flames currently 0-3 on the year. However, each loss has been an extremely close one, coming down to one or two things, giving them a -3 differential and 3 points. So they are still within striking range of playoffs within the Violet Conference. But on the flip side, the San Diego Pachirisu, after a great showing in week one, have had two rough matches since, now 1-2 on the year. Currently sitting sixth place in the Scarlet Conference, only 2 points from their one victory. Since then, they've had two losses, uh, both of which were at a 3 diff. And so both teams looking to try and capitalize and get a big win here. Taking a look at the Atlanta Talonflames, their team consists of Greninja, Rillaboom, Sneasler, Metagross, Meloetta, Sandy Shocks, Hoopa Unbound as a Terra Captain, Cryogonal, Galarian Weezing, and Entei as a Terra Captain as well. Meloetta being the third of such because they do not have a high busted S tier Mon. On the flip side, San Diego Pachirisus are rocking with Gliscor, Urshifu Rapid, Blastoise, Terra Captain Talon, Talonflame, Mimikyu, Hisuian Gudra, Iron Crown, Terra Captain Okidogi, Terra Captain Galvantula, and Hisuian Samurott right off the bat. Anything jumping out to you, Playmaker, in this matchup?
well, I think Entei, if it does come, I think it definitely can exhibit a lot of offensive pressure just right off the bat. Not many things on Talon's team want to take, um, like a Sacred Fire and just get burned. Uh, uh, but again, I guess we'll just have to see if it even comes. And yeah, that fact that it's a Terra Captain is also pretty huge as well. Even just looking back at last week, uh, the Atlanta Town Flames were in a really close position to defeat one of the stronger competitors, and Aaron, um, and he basically terrestrialized into a grass type, got a Trailblaze up, and then ultimately fell. Well, actually, I don't think he got the Trailblaze up. I think he just terrestrialized it into the grass type to absorb the incoming Jet Punch from the Palafin, but then ultimately just ended up losing to Choice Scarf Scizor. So really, uh, Talent has a lot of good strategies going into matches, and like you said, just losing out, just barely losing out, I should say, just because we're 3 weeks in. 0-3 differential means you've literally lost 0-1 in every single week going into this. So it'll be very interesting to see what Talent has cooked up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point. Every match has been close and intense. And one of the things that just jumps out to me is the fact that this feels like iron versus iron. You have an incredibly high attack offensive team in the Talon Flames because you've got the Sneasler high attack stat, you've got the Metagross high attack stat, the Entei, Hoopa can be physical, Rillaboom hits hard, all of which just hit extremely hard, do major damage. But on the flip side, you have very defensive cores in the San Diego Pachirisus. Blastoise can be a tank. Hisuian Gudra, with its typing and stats, can take a lot of hits. Gliscor taking physical blows. even Iron Crown with a decent defensive stat and Okidogi. So it kind of feels like we've got an explosive offense in one hand and a very stout defense in the other. And so, to your point with Entei having an interesting matchup here, I would have to agree. As far as the San Diego Pachirisus goes, Coach Joe, anything that stands out to you in this?
I mean, I'm always interested in a shell smash mon. We've got a Blastoise just chilling there that looks like it can do a good amount of damage to a lot of the mons weak to water on the other side if it gets a chance to set up. It looks like this team had some changes made to it. If I am looking at it, there's a Mimikyu on that team that I don't think was there originally, which I think could come into play a lot as well with the Sneasler on the other side, with the Meloetta on the other side. That both like to use fighting and normal type moves to their advantage, and I think it could just provide a lot of utility with the disguise ability and Shadow Sneak to get some clutch kills coming in. So I think we're going to see a really interesting match on that end of the team as well. Gliscor is obviously always a pretty great bring with Toxic Heal, and Hisuian Samurott just puts in work with Ceaseless Edge. You can run it banded, you can run it scarfed, and just you've got a lot of options for different builds on this team with a lot of speed control options. Maybe missing out on a little bit of removal, but I don't think you're really too worried about it.
Yeah, I believe the only real removal options here for the San Diego Pachirisu is going to potentially be the defog on the Talonflame. Coaches, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, sorry. And the Rapid Spin on the Blastoise. So there is that option for it. Now, this San Diego Pachirisu does have a team that looks like, hey, it wants to potentially get hazards up between the Sticky Webs and the Galvantula, Ceaseless Edge on the Hisuian Samurott, rocks from the Gliscor. So a lot of potential there for some hazard play. However, I would argue that uh, Galarian Wheezing is one of the more interesting hazard removals because it does get defog and its ability of neutralizing gas actually makes it really effective. So that way certain mons can't necessarily be an answer to it. And that's actually one of the mons I'm very interested in seeing the interaction with. I think it'd be fascinating if we see the Mimikyu come if Galarian Wheezing is an answer for that. Not only does it have the natural bulk and the typing that kind of gets annoying for Mimikyu, but also things like the neutralizing gas for its ability means that disguise won't actually work. It'll just break through essentially.
Yeah, and I will comment that San Diego Padres did use Mimikyu quite interestingly in that Week 1 matchup versus
Yes.
the London Shockwaves by Coach Addy, and literally brought Choice Scarf, Rain Dance
Yeah.
on Mimikyu.
Yeah, absolutely. A Choice Scarf Mimikyu, very interesting set, something you wouldn't necessarily anticipate to see, especially when it's running a status move like Rain Dance. But when you've got a major sun offensive pressure threat, you have to do that. So San Diego Patricio is not afraid to bring uncommon or unexpected sets with this. So it'll be very interesting to see. I think ultimately what it's going to come down to is can the Atlanta Talonflames break through the defensive core of the San Diego Pachirisu. I think that's ultimately what it's going to be, and I'm curious to see what their game plan to do it is. Are we going to see a setup Sneasler, or is it going to be Choice Band to try and get some poison touches off? Are we going to see Battle Bond Greninja? Hoopa has a chance to just absolutely start dropping things if it comes in correctly. So it'll be very interesting to see. And if we do see the Cell Smash Blastoise, as Coach Pizza Box Joe was referring to, that would also be very interesting, especially because in this sense, Hydro Pump, the only real option for that's Rillaboom. And to answer that, Blastoise does get Ice Beam, but I think what we may see deter that is the fact that Rillaboom does get that grassy terrain and grassy glides, so a Shell Smash can potentially be revenged at any point.
Yeah, and then the other thing I was looking at in this matchup is that uh, Terra Hoopa looks very scary in this match. Not many answers for it, especially if it's um, potentially like a Terra Fairy, for example, maybe eating up a Ceaseless Edge or even a U-turn uh, from the Urshifu Rapid Strike, and then just going ahead and just punishing whatever comes in. Um, and yeah, not many things want to take a knockoff on the San Diego Pachirisu's team, and if it does, it wouldn't want to take any sort of stab move from it as well. So lots of things to consider in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are just waiting right now. We were asked to hold off before starting the matchup from one of the coaches due to a bit of a furry friend concern. And so we're going to give them a moment to make sure that everything is okay before we get started. But once we get that go ahead, we will go ahead and start this match. But it does look to be a very good one. Coaches, have you seen the sets that I set you already?
I have actively chosen to not look at them.
Okay, what about you, Play?
I looked at a little bit of it,
Okay.
not nothing in depth, but I did add a little thing to help stall with the with the patch. Just sub with that Prime subscription right there.
Greatly appreciate it. We here at TBL mainly do this for the community, but every time someone is willing to sub, it goes right back into the league. Goldoa is very big on keeping the money into the league, and so we appreciate it. We appreciate the upbuilding, the viewers, and everything. It goes a long way with everything that we are trying to do here. So appreciate it, especially with the Prime subscription. It always is something that we don't want to necessarily go asking for, but whenever it's done, we greatly appreciate it because it does come back around. With that also being mentioned, as a reminder, we do currently have the YouTube channel going. Um, Videos and replays are being uploaded there, as well as shorts and recaps. So, Twitch Battle League on YouTube, please go check it out. A lot of things going on there as well. Now, Joe, you said you've intentionally not looked at the sets. What are the 6 mons that you are predicting to come for each side?
Great question. On the Talonflames side, I think Play was alluding to Terra Hoopa. I do believe that is going to come. I think that thing's just a monster and has the ability to come every week, similarly to Sneasler. I like Metagross's matchup here as well, kind of going 1-for-1 with the Iron Crown, but I think it takes it on handedly. It looks like we've revealed the 6 mons, and I got 3 for 3. So
Yeah,
I feel pretty proud of my assessment here.
absolutely. And I'll go ahead and read off the full teams now. For anyone who might be watching while they're driving, I'm calling you out, Goldoa, if you're on this call. So I'm calling you out from here. But we have the Sneasler, Rillaboom, Greninja, Metagross, Meloetta, and Hoopa Unbound for the Atlanta Talonflames. That is 2 of the 3 Terra Captains coming this week. So interesting to see what the plan is. On the flip side, for the San Diego Pachirisu, we have Iron Crown, Gliscor, Urshifu Rapid, Hisuian Gudra, Okidogi, and of course the Hisuian Samurott. So very interesting set right off the bat here. No Blastoise, which means we're not going to see your Shell Smash set, unfortunately.
Dad. That's okay.
You know,
I
and
forgive you.
surprising, and seeing Meloetta on the screen was also a surprise as well, just because I just didn't think it had that great of a matchup going into this thing.
Well, one of the things to remember with Meloetta is it does get the ability to use its Relic Song in this game, which means it can switch to normal fighting physical as an option as well.
That's true. That's true. But even then, I just feel like Okidogi just,
Oh, absolutely.
okay, at least into the fine. But I guess Meloetta does have um, the potential to side shot it, but then again, Okidogi can terrestrialize, right? So, there are a lot of interesting uh, things playing out here between both of these interactions. So,
Yep, lots still going on. So we see right off the bat, the Sneasler is a grassy seed set, so we are going to see some unburdened shenanigans. We also see that it looks like Metagross is going to be the lead here. So
to do it. Oh my god! Wow! Right in the time.
Crazy.
all right off the bat, we see Urshifu taking on the Metagross. This is kind of an interesting spot here. The Metagross running a very interesting set with the leftovers. It is Stealth Rock, it is Iron Defense, and it's running Psychic Fangs and Body Press, whereas the Urshifu here is Choice Scarf, so not really going to break through. It does get Surging Strikes to help break through any sort of setup, but
Yeah, it doesn't really care about that iron defense.
no, it doesn't. But at the same time, Surging Strikes isn't doing a ton either, so it's going to take a lot of chip to get through this Metagross first. And we see the Hisuian Samurott come in here, likely anticipating a Psychic type move coming from the Metagross, but instead they're going to see the Iron Defense pop off, and then almost immediately leftovers are going to be revealed, bringing the Metagross back to almost full after that U-turn. So not much damage there. Metagross now looking like it's around 93 to 96% health roughly. So curious to see what the play is here, because if not careful, a body press will just delete this Hisuian Samurott now that the iron defenses come off.
Yeah, if you're San Diego Padres, do you go for the Ceaseless Edge, or do you just try to scout to see if there is a body press? Maybe go out into like an Okie dokie or something. I mean, there's not a lot that can handle the Metagross from the special side.
Yeah, there is not a lot. We see the life orb get revealed, dealing about 36 or so percent, and the body press is just going to come out and absolutely delete the Hisuian Samurott. So we do have one layer of spikes up, and there is no removal on the Atlanta Talonflame side, so those are here to stay. But this Metagross is looking very intimidating at the moment.
And you want to wonder if the Hisuian Samurai had knockoff potential. I'm looking at the set. It didn't have knockoff, but if it had a knockoff, I think that would have been a better play just to get rid of those leftover recovery and just being able to chip this thing down
Yeah.
with other.
I mean, the thing that jumps out to me is outside of Iron Crown, which does not like the matchup against this Metagross, they're both Psychic Steel, so none of the stabs are going to be hitting. This is an offensive or a physically offensive core here, and so the Iron Defense is going to allow them to deal some damage. Now we see the Iron Crown swap in here, and its most effective move is going to actually be the Tachyon Cutter, which is doing about 25% on the higher end of the damage. So kind of a little spooky, and we see Talon say, all right, if you're going to do this, I'm just going to go ahead and get Stealth Rocks up and make sure that, hazard for hazard, essentially, at this point.
Yeah, that's a really good move from both sides, I should say. But ultimately, something has to come in and just take a potential body press. If you're San Diego Patriots is thinking that the body press is coming in.
You go to the Okie dokie anticipating it here. Instead,
or the Gliscor, really.
Or the Gliscor, yeah.
One.
But instead, we see the Urshifu come in here. Stealth Rocks are up, and that's kind of interesting because now taking a look at it, this Metagross should be in range here for the Urshifu to pick up a kill with Surging Strikes. 165 health puts it at... Actually, no. Oh. Surging Strikes won't kill. This Urshifu Rapid will just live. If I'm reading these calcs right.
Oh, yeah, that's not enough.
It is not enough. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely huge. Psychic Fangs is going to come out, not going to be enough to pick up the kill, but that is huge damage to the Urshifu, especially with Rocks up, because the downside here is, yes, Urshifu takes resisted damage to the Stealth Rocks. However, at this low of damage, that adds up very quickly, especially when you're Choice Scarf with momentum.
Yeah.
So now we
are. I mean, if you just have to put certain strikes again, just to make sure.
Yeah, you can't risk it. I agree. But to your point, if the leftovers were able to be knocked off earlier, that would be an absolutely huge moment here, because then the lefties kept this thing out of range to get that big damage off. Metagross goes down, but I'd argue it did an amazing job as a lead here.
This whole time, Talon didn't even switch out. He just kept the Metagross in and just let it set up, and then just let it do what it needed to do.
Yeah, and
Sometimes that's key.
funny enough here, the Rillaboom actually looks really scary. Right off the bat. Now, Gudra does have the ability to be Sap Sipper, and if that is what was brought this week, be an absolutely huge bring. In fact, let me take a look and see if the Gudra was Sap Sipper. Very quickly. It is not. It is Shell Armor. And so Rillaboom has kind of an interesting play here.
Yeah, do you go for the Trailblaze, thinking that this thing is scarfed?
Seeing a U-turn early and no Life Orb chip, I would not be surprised if they think it's Choice Lock to some kind. And based off the damage roll, you're probably anticipating that this is Scarfed at this point.
No Grassy Glide either is something I noticed as well.
Anticipating the swap, and Gliscor comes in, but this is going to be huge because Gliscor is going to lose its item, and if this is Toxic Orb, which I believe it is, that is no poison heal for the Gliscor. Oh, that is absolutely huge.
That's huge. Very huge.
And now because of this...
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was going to say, now because of this, Rillaboom possibly has a chance to set up here a little bit.
It does, but you don't want to take a knockoff from the Gliscor because you want that loaded dice still intact.
It's true.
Additionally, you could... Did we check if the Gudra was Sap Sipper?
It is not Sap Sipper, and also...
Interesting.
The Gliscor doesn't have knockoff. U-turn is its only real threat into this Rillaboom.
Wow. Well, obviously Talon doesn't know that, so potentially going into the with the premonition of, well, I could get knocked off here, but we did see him click Trailblaze, I believe.
Now we're going to see what the play is here, but right off the bat, these are some very interesting positions here. The Gudra is going to come in, take hardly anything from the rock damage, and the Swords Dance is what was clicked, so +2 attack here on the Rillaboom, and both Mons are going to recover here from the grassy terrain. So Gudra is back to full. Because of the +2, knockoff is going to be doing over 50% on the first hit here. So going to be a little spooky. This is a defensive setup Gudra. It is running Acid Armor, and because of Shell Armor, they don't have to worry about the possibility of crits here. But the knockoff here is going to get rid of its leftovers, which means it's going to just be a slow chip to kill it, and getting over 50% of the way there on the first hit is absolutely huge. So we see the knockoff come out, deal probably around 55% damage, and we see a Dragon Tail, so no setup, just getting rid of the Rillaboom, knowing it's a threat here.
I feel like that's fine.
Yeah.
You get some big damage off of the knock, and you get Dragon Tailed out into this wonderful looking Hoopa that has the possibility to tear. We know it's Scarf, obviously, because we can see this side. But what terror? I know I didn't look in the
Terra
thing.
Fairy.
What terror are we seeing on the Hoopa? Terra Fairy? So you
Terra
could
Fairy.
Terra Fairy here, but I don't know if you need to. I think you can click. Actually, switching might be the best option here into something else.
Yeah.
I think you want to preserve switching into the Sneasler. You don't want to hit the Gudra into that with the Dragon Tail, because I think the Pachirisus could just keep clicking Dragon Tail and be okay here.
Yep, so we're going to see the Dark Pulse come out here, and I don't necessarily disagree here. We want to get rid of this Gudra, and so we saw Dark Pulse come out, dealing about 25% damage, give or take. And so now this is a precarious position for the Gudra, because if it gets flinch hacked or a higher roll, Dark Pulse could just pick up a kill here, meaning this entire Gudra just kind of becomes all for naught. And we see a hard swap out. What will be the election to go into instead? We see the Okie Dokie, maybe anticipating that this is a choice locked Mon. And we see the Dark Pulse come out. This is not going to do very much, as the Okidogi is a very bulky set, and it is running Assault Vest.
Interesting.
I just love how Okidogi's tongue is just like out and just put up and down.
I like its tongue being out a lot more than I like Greninja's tongue being out, with full transparency.
Oh, this is true. And they are going up against each other.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and if you're Talon, you can't stay in. You're locked into Dark Pulse right now because of the choice card. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of what wants to take a potential knockoff.
And interesting to note, Okidogi is a Terra captain here, so it does have the potential to Terra into something. Now, obviously, you're not anticipating them to Terra into anything that is going to become weak to Dark, so you swap out. But going into Meloetta seems a little risky because if they just say Terra into Dark right here, it gets spooky for the Meloetta. We do see the Terra come out, which is interesting because it is Terra Poison. And so Dark Pulse would have become neutral. Granted, you are Assault Vest, so you don't necessarily care anyway. But the Meloetta is still going to hit with a ton of damage. We see Gunk Shot come out. It will connect.
Oh, dear.
Do we see it poison?
It lived!
It lived. Yep.
Wow.
So Gunk Shot there had a chance to kill after the spikes. It was roughly a 62.5% chance. Meloetta lives, gets the lefties to recover, and we see the Psyshock come out here. But Iron Crown's going to swap in and take the hit.
Gonna take it, no problem.
A great switch on the San Diego Pachirisu is recognizing that Iron Crown is able to tank both of Meloetta's stabs and the incoming psychic move as well if it were to just go for damage on the Okidogi.
Yes.
And now the San Diego Pachirisus can gain momentum with a Volt Switch here, given that it should probably pick up the kill on Meloetta. I'm not doing the calcs, but
it should. It should absolutely. Meloetta is sitting at 16%. Volt Switch on a mid-roll is doing 17. I think at this point you kind of just have to sack the Meloetta, and that's exactly what we're going to see happen. Is Iron Crown comes in, clicks Volt Switch to your credit play with that prediction, and it's going to pick up a kill, giving for the moment Rotom a 1-mon lead as Meloetta goes down. But one of the big key moments of this is because of that interaction, Meloetta came in and revealed the Terra on the Okidogi. So now it is Terra Poison. You can kind of play around that a little bit. And it also does mean that if we see a Dark Pulse get selected for the Hoopa Unbound, the Okidogi can't swap in as cleanly. It's still Assault Vest, so it can still take quite a bit. But unfortunately, because of the lack of the resist now, it's going to be taking more with that. Also, it's now taking neutral damage to the rocks on every switch in because it lost its fighting type. So going to be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Now here, you'd be hoping to get that Grassy Glide in your move list, but you just don't have it. And if you had it, it'd be a great clip here.
It would be, but the question is do you stay in and risk the Grassy Glide here if you are Rotom?
That's true. He has not revealed the set.
No, we've only seen 2 of the moves actually, Knockoff and Swords Dance. The last two have not been revealed, so do you take that risk? Or do you swap into something that can better take the hit here, such as the Okidogi or the Goodra? Although Goodra is very low at this point, so that almost would be a death sentence.
Yeah, and you just see it's great that the San Diego Padres are playing safe and everything, but I just don't know how I feel with the possibility of the Rillaboom setting up a Source Dance, right? Like if it set up a Source Dance and then if it did have Grassy Glide, then a lot of things would be in trouble.
So we're going to see the U-turn come out here, get big damage onto the Rillaboom. Part of it will be re-recovered with the grassy terrain, but Trailblaze is what was clicked here. And at +1 speed, this does get interesting as it will outspeed everything with the exception of the Urshifu. And Trailblaze boosted, not going to be enough to two-shot the Goodra, but at this range, it should be able to click knockoff and pick up the kill on the Goodra here. Let me just double check, go back to the calcs with no item. It does pick up the kill, so just like that, it is a 4-4 game. Hisuian Gudra goes down, and just like that, gets a little spooky. Now, here's the other interesting part of this. Do you now reveal what the last move is on the Rotom? Because if you do that, very decent chance that you are going to bring in the Urshifu Rapid, because it's now going to know, oh, you don't have Grassy Glide? Yeah, I can just outspeed and kill you. And I think it's a fair trade here, as we're going to see at least 4 come out. So this will pick up the kill, and Gliscor is going to go down.
Yeah.
Played really well around the Gliscor here, I think.
Yeah, Gliscor became completely just out of the equation at this point. Rillaboom is at +1 speed, so the only thing that can really guarantee to come in here and outspeed is going to be that Choice Scarf Urshifu. In doing so, it's going to take another round of rock damage. It's going to reveal for a fact that it is indeed Scarf, and it's going to get locked into a move when you have Mons that can still come in and potentially resist. But instead, we see the Iron Crown come in. Kind of interesting, as Iron Crown knows it's going to be taking a knockoff here, and that's huge damage.
It is huge damage. Still lives, but we see Assault Vest. I didn't even know this thing got Air Slash.
It does, and it does connect. And so I think now you're going to see Sneasler be forced to come in just to try and take advantage of the grassy terrain. Oh, wait, no, the grassy terrain is going to disappear, so the Sneasler will not be able to get its Unburden boost unless it gets knocked off. So very unfortunate there in terms of the timing. But the Iron Crown now extremely weak. The game is 3-3, so neither coach will be scoring 3 points. No matter who wins, it will be a 2-point victory. It's just a question of who can come in here the cleanest. And I think one of the things to note, Hoopa is looking so good right now because Psychic just destroys Hisuian Samurott. Or sorry, Hisuian Samurott. I mean, Urshifu Rapid. It destroys the Okidogi. I mean, you do have the Assault Vest, but it's not going to like taking that. So I think this is going to get really precarious here for Rotom.
Now, who do you guys think is going to win this matchup? Chat, feel free to put in your predictions.
Yeah, still a lot of things that can happen here. You do have the Okidogi, which is still relatively healthy from my recollection. So curious to see what happens here. Sneasler's going to come in. However, Sneasler is not faster. It's going to just die here if the Iron Crown just clicks Psychic because of the fact it didn't get its speed boost. And that's exactly what we're going to see happen. Sneasler is just going to go down here.
Wow.
So maybe anticipating not much speed put into the Iron Crown, but because Sneasler didn't get its Unburden boost, it was not outspeeding anything there. And so the 4 times effective stab Psychic is going to drop it very, very quickly. So now it's San Diego Pachirisu guaranteed at least 1 point as a result of that. Dark Pulse, relatively free to click here.
Yeah. If you're San Diego Pachirisu, do you let this Greninja get the Battle Bond? Do you swap into Okidogi to tank whatever hit is coming in, and then another hit right after?
Yeah, this is kind of the risky spot here. We do see the hard swap out. Okidogi would be the only thing that could come in and take the hit. We do see it come in. It's going to take 12% from the rocks now because of the loss of the fighting type. And Water Shuriken is going to come in and connect for only 2 hits, unfortunately. So not doing very much.
And it remains water and dark. It's not the Protean Greninja. So if there's a Drain Punch from the Okidogi, then it could just potentially get its health back. I don't know, is Okidogi Assault Vest?
Okidogi is the Assault Vest. The moveset on the Okidogi that it has here, let me pull it right back up. We see the extra sentry come out. That's going to be huge damage. It's got Close Combat, Psychic Fangs, Knockoff, and Gunk Shot. We see the Gunk Shot come out. It's going to connect, and it's just going to kill the Greninja. So now it is Hoopa versus the World, a position that Talon has been in a number of times. However, I think there is a very good chance that Hoopa can actually do it here if they can play the Terra game right. Because this is Choice Scarf, it is going to outspeed, and Okidogi has taken a ton of damage. You just need to click the right move here. And I think at this point, because of the Terra, you got to click Dark Pulse. It's going to be the thing that guarantees you a chance to kill, because you could click Terra Blast possibly. That could also go hard into the other two Mons, but I think the safest play is you click Dark Pulse and you wait until you have to click the Terra button. So this is going to be very interesting. It's going to come down to whether or not Dark Pulse kills here, and it's going to come down to whether or not the Urshifu Rapid can kill at this range, because Dark Pulse will kill the Iron Crown. This Hoopa is going to outspeed the Iron Crown. And we see the Okidogi go down. I think that's game. I think this Hoopa is now in position to sweep, because even if the Urshifu Rapid were to pick up the Surging Strike to come in here, I don't think it's going to do enough, because this Hoopa is too healthy. It's doing at most 86.5%. So I think Hoopa's in a position to secure the victory here for the San Diego Pachirisus. The Rock's going to help ensure that whatever comes in, they are going to be extremely low. Urshifu is going to come in. And let me take a look at the health on the 319, 88%. Surging Strikes is never killing. And if they Terra into Fairy, close combat never will either, even with a crit. So I think Hoopa Unbound is going to carry Talon to their first win.
Very nice. Very well played. It's a good game overall.
It was a great game, and unfortunately, these Surging Strikes are going to be just short, even with the guaranteed crits. Not enough to pick up a kill. Dark Pulse will come out, and more than enough to pick up the kill. And now Iron Crown versus the Hoopa, and Iron Crown without any priority moves. The Choice Scarf will guarantee outspeed, and Hoopa's going to pick up 3 kills, and this time, where it's tried on a few occasions before, it is going to be able to complete the reverse sweep and come back and pick up the win, giving Talon their first win of the year, a 1-0 victory. Both coaches picking up a point, one additional one for Talon. Great game, great match, and great performance. And I'm going to go ahead and unmute and undeafen Talon now. So Talon, as a heads up, you are live on the stream. Congratulations for the win. Insane match.
Oh, after what happened before the game, which you guys are aware of, I did not think that I was going to be in that position late, so to speak, because and also, I mean, I know Rotom, do you want me to call you Rotom, or do you want me to call you Noah, like how your in-game name is?
I honestly, I have no preference. Choose whatever.
Okay, then same with me. I mean, you could call me Talon or Joe, whatever one you wanna call me at. But that's so when I brought Sneasler out there, I thought maybe I'd have a chance, but I was not a very fast Sneasler, and I really needed the grassy terrain up for another turn.
Dude, I was genuinely surprised to see that Iron Crown outsped. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I made it more on like a more bulky physical side to maybe try to live like Urshifu's Surging Strikes and
gotcha.
But also with the investment that I had at +1 with the grassy terrain up, Earthquake is a 3-hit KO with Gliscor.
Really? Well, even then, I still brought high horsepower. I wasn't gonna run Earthquake into aggressive terrain.
Okay, then I most likely prepped for I didn't even know Gliscor got high horsepower until literally 20 seconds ago.
I didn't know it until I clicked, like I saw it in the team builder.
Yeah, because And can I also just say this on behalf of Fin and Playmaker? Why did you not bring my mascot to this game? Where is my
My
bird?
guy, my guy. You see, at least the way that I was building, that Entei looked terrifying. I don't care how much Gale Wings can do to your Sneasler. That you can just easily revenge me with a Terra Normal extreme speed, and I would have had nothing I could do against that.
Fair point.
Same with Wheezing. Wheezing, I was terrified of.
Yeah,
Wheezing, I did not feel comfortable bringing Wheezing to this battle at all with a... I mean, even with Rapid Strike, yeah, I could have slapped on a Rocky Helmet and really punished you, but there's a Gliscor and there's an Iron Crown there. So...
That was also fair.
And also there's a Okidogi, and Poison Fairy gets hit neutrally by Poison, but it definitely doesn't want to take Terra Poison.
No, no, that's why I went with it. I literally, like, most of your team is either like it takes the hit well, but the things that would want to take the hit just don't like Gliscor.
No, they do not. Like, I mean, I had that Greninja. It was a Battle Bond Greninja, and I thought about going like Extrasensory or Dark Pulse on that first turn when Iron Crown switched out, and I gotta remember, if the Pokemon is low and you can see a Greninja come out, especially in these last few generations of Draft League, do not leave your Pokemon out there to get KO'd unless you have a counter in the back.
No, dude. Honestly, that's why I brought a lot of like pivot potential as well, with a lot of that like Volt Switch and U-turn stuff going on, just so that like if I find myself with you switching into Greninja, that I can try to at least get out of there.
Yeah, like, I mean, I saw the Scarf Urshifu on the first turn, and thank God for that Iron Defense, man. I was like,
Oh,
Iron
totally.
Iron Defense Body Press looked kind of fun in this game. And I mean, I was fine with taking a layer of spikes in return, although there was a chance at Ceaseless Edge. I speak on behalf of every Joe in Draft League that has drafted a Hisuian Samurott. You will miss a Ceaseless Edge.
See,
Of course.
I have not come across that yet, so I'm waiting for my time. But,
Yeah, but see, you're a Noah, not a Joe.
Oh, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough.
There's a loophole to that mentality.
Yep. So one thing
with the iron. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, with the Iron Defense Metagross, that's not even what I was expecting at all. Like, as soon as you did that, I was like, oh shoot, that goes really well into my team. I was more expecting you to like get hit with a Ceaseless Edge or something and want to take that for a weakness policy set, and that's why I had Sucker on there after, so that I could punish you for that. But that Iron Defense blew it out of the window.
Yeah, I looked at your team and I was like, Samurott goes to Iron Defense Body Press. The only damage Urshifu can do to it is with Surging Strikes. But Iron Defense Body Press, it helps out with Goodra, it helps out with Iron Crown. Surprisingly, at plus 6, it can even 2-hit KO a Gliscor, my investment.
Really?
Assuming, because, I have to use the base Gliscor set for calculation and whatever, but at least on... Oh, excuse me. Like, I actually have the what's it called up, the damage calculator. If I do just OU Swords Dance, which is, again, I assume your Gliscor was
Okay.
at plus 6. Actually, I'm wrong. Body Press would have been a 97.7% chance to 3-hit KO. Or actually, no, with Alpha Toxic Orb, it would have been a guaranteed 3-hit. But you were high horsepower. High horsepower in return would have been doing... how much investment did you have?
I had no investment into my attack at all.
Adamant?
No, Impish. I wanted to try and take as many hits as possible.
Okay, then, yeah, so Body Press would still be a guaranteed 3-hit KO. High horsepower, if I had gotten to plus 6, you would have been doing 8.7 to 11.5%.
Yeah, that's what I have on my side, too. That's crazy. That's genuinely crazy.
Yeah, I was like, it looks fun with the Iron Defense set. I wanted to have Greninja in the back as like that last second Battle Bond click. And honestly, if I would have gotten the Extrasensory flinch, I still would have gotten the
oh yeah,
Battle
totally.
Bond.
Yeah, I specifically slapped assault vest on there to avoid a situation like that. Because I had assault vest on my Okie dokie. Uh, to be able to try and take as many like potential extra sensories or like what other mons did you have that I was afraid of? Or to
Just
take like
like
a hydro
Entei.
pump from Greninja, at least for the assault vest side. That way it wouldn't be like activating your battle bond. So, but no, that totally could have screwed me over if I got flinched.
Yeah, just a little bit there. And then I mean, how'd you like the Rillaboom tech?
The bullet seed?
Uh-huh.
Dude, I love it. I love that's the one thing I'm learning about Mimikyu is people like to run multi-hitting moves against me now.
Well, I mean, I don't have Mold Breaker, so it's either multi-hit move or
Yeah,
because I don't think neutralizing gas turns off disguise if I remember correctly. It
no, it
might.
doesn't. Or, well, actually, it might.
I
Because
believe it
sorry, I
does.
was thinking of it. Yeah,
Uh,
because it should work in the same rules as Mold Breaker.
yeah,
Yeah, but
it in the same way that Mold Breaker then is allowed to just one hit KO Mimikyu, neutralizing gas should as well.
yeah, but even then, like Galarian Wheezing with an Iron Crown and a Gliscor on the opposing side. I mean, I played enough VGC to know that unless a Weezing can terrestrialize in front of those two mons, it does not want to come when those two mons are there.
Yeah,
Hey, fair enough.
And also, I had Life Orb on Greninja up until yesterday night, and I was
Yeah,
like,
what
you
item is
know,
it running?
heavy duty boots. I was prepping for Sticky Web
Oh,
Galvantula.
see, I didn't process that when I was watching the battle. Dude, let me tell you, I was stressing during this too because my screen froze and I had no idea what was going on for like an entire minute. And then
oh,
I finally I can't upload my video this week because I had to take it out of the OBS. But
Oh no.
what ended up happening is I took it off and I had literally 5 seconds to choose my next move. And I
oh.
basically just spammed, hoping for the best.
Hey, when that happens.
Yeah, and then Hoopa living on 36 HP. I mean, you knew I was going to be terrestrializing that turn.
Oh, totally. And
Uh,
like I had Iron Head too, just in case, but it turns out that Surging Strike still does just a little bit more percentage, even more than a Iron Head.
Yep.
But regardless, the only thing I was worried about is if you were going to be Terra Water. But running into the rest of my team, I don't know why you would run Terra Water Hoopa.
yeah, I was just straight up Terra Fairy Choice Scarf set this week. A friend of mine said your team was like super fast, so I should have maybe done like a Terra Fighting Trick Room
Ooh,
team,
that would have been
which
cool.
it would have been. But at the same time, like I just felt like like I'll be honest, looking at your team, I mean, it would have been fun if I could have brought Cryogonal.
Dude, I had prepped for Cryogonal. That's that guy looked so easy to spam freeze dry into me with.
Yeah, that was a idea that I had at first glance because your top four Pokemon, like quite literally, what is
Yeah.
stopping a freeze dry? What? Well, let me rephrase that. Outside of a giant bear, what is stopping a freeze dry? Because Samurott don't want to take freeze dry, Blastoise don't want to take freeze dry, and Gliscor sure as hell don't want to take freeze dry.
Yeah, so that guy genuinely, when I was prepping, I was keeping my eye on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, hell, Meloetta was like, so I nearly swapped Meloetta for Sandy Shocks in this match, but I was like, I haven't brought Meloetta yet, and it looks kind of okay into this matchup because I mean, with the Okie Dokie, it can hit it with Size Shock, it can hit the
Oh,
Urshifu
totally.
with Size Shock. I had Terra Electric on it
Ooh,
if I
okay.
needed a Terra, but Hoopa was like the Terra cap for this
Yeah,
battle. It was like, I need Hoopa to Terra, I need to keep it around late, and then I needed to survive a hit.
gotcha. So you kind of just you wanted it to be Hoopa, but you had it as a backup.
Yeah, that was my backup this week, and in all fairness, it was fine to bring this week. I mean, when you switched in Iron Crown, I mean, I believe it was a sub Calm Mind Meloetta with Terra Blast and Side Shock. I was going to be doing like negligible damage in front of Iron Crown, and
Yeah,
so there was really no reason for me to do anything else with it. I'm sure there's a way I could rock the pirouette form in one of these battles, but it's like, in order to do the pirouette form, I have to convert one move slot to Relic Song.
Yeah, and then on top of that, don't your stats change when you transform?
Yeah, it
Yes,
becomes
it
a lot
sure
more
do.
physically offensive.
And
It
fast.
yeah, it becomes a fast, hard hitting glass cannon, which makes it really interesting. But before we continue too much more, I do want to go ahead and wrap up so we can uh, get the recap then, or get the replay uploaded as well. Rotom, sorry that your and didn't work. If you'd like, let me know. I'm more than happy to download the replay for you and send it to you so you can talk over it.
Oh.
Just mute it if you'd like. So it'll be from Talon's perspective, but at least then you can potentially upload the battle as well. Still,
You know what? I might have to ask you for that if I can.
yeah, absolutely. But that'll do it for us for this matchup. We do have another one in about an hour and 15. So please come on back and watch that as well, as to round out the week of battles that we're going to be having go on. That's going to be the Boston Red Rocks taking on the Virginia Victini. So please uh, stick around a little bit longer, and we'll be back to you with another great matchup. But in the meantime, Joe, appreciate commentating with you. Play, I know you had to take off, but appreciate you joining us as well. Coaches, great matchup. That was an intense battle. Another 1-0 difference in the matchup for you, Talon. So these close matches keep coming. But in the meantime,
I'm serious, Finn. I gotta be setting a record in TBL with these 1-0s.
it's very possible. We'll have to look into it. But until next time, folks, we want to thank you for stopping by. And remember, whatever you're doing in life, just have fun with it. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.